Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you're here for a book haul. Most of the books that I'm gonna go through are ones that I found at the Great American Book Sale, which was just kind of like a rummage sale for our local library at the end of the summer, trying to clear out its inventory and get money for new books to buy. I thought I would just show you what I've got because it's been a while. It's summer and now it's November. So let's just dive right in. I went with my sister and I'm gonna go through all of the ones that spoke to me. First, I've got some William Shakespeare collections. When I found these gently loved hardcover books, I had to pick them up. I really like the spine of them. Gold, red, and green, you know, those are classic dark academia colors for the books. There's also a little kind of like engraving or a little stamp. It's really more of an impression on the front cover, and it's the profile of Willie Shakes. There's a volume for tragedies and then a volume for comedies. This next round of books are ones that were kind of in the more expensive section. And you can also see that they are sitting behind me as well. We've got some out for decoration. So I'll just kind of go through and name what I've got. 3 plays by Ibsen. We can't pass up an opportunity for any theater things. We also have Euripides. In addition to Euripides, we also have Aeschylus, so we have the Oresteia, and then we also have 2 plays by Chekhov. And I know that this kind of makes me maybe like a bad actor, but I've honestly never seen a Chekhov play or read one, which probably does, people are probably cringing at that. So anyway, that's one reason why I picked it up in addition to it looking so beautiful. But these books are so gorgeous because of the gold embossing, and then also the pages are gold as well. They're just really nice. Another big book I found was an art book. It's called The Great Modern Masters, and it drew my eye because it had Luncheon on the Grass by Manet as the cover. So I just graduated with my bachelor's degree and I took some poetry classes. The entire semester was spent writing ekphrastic poems. And ekphrastics are just poems that are inspired by works of art. And I chose Manet. So that's why I was like, I like zeroed in on it. Not only does it have Manet, but it also has Monet and Renoir and Turner. So these are also artists that friends of mine who are also taking that poetry class had spent the entire semester like really spending time with and getting to know. So I had to pick it up because it had tremendous sentimental value. In addition to the Great Modern Masters art book, I also picked up a book on Michelangelo because I recently spent some time in Rome. So the Italian Renaissance is in the forefront of my mind. And then I also picked up a book on Renoir as well as Pissarro. So I'm very much looking forward to having these and learning a bit more about these iconic artists. Another art book I picked up is one for opera. I really liked the cover. I'm not sure what opera it's from, but it's a woman playing a mandolin. And I just really like her face. She's like really feeling the music. I picked up Glenn Miller, which is a very prominent and very prolific jazz musician. I also picked up a Mumford & Sons. It's Babel, because I don't have that, but I love it because it's got the library case on it still. And I also picked up a Chopin. I really like listening to Chopin when I study or anytime I'm just in the mood for being moody. I listen to Chopin. I guess a lot of the books that I'm about to talk about are books that I've heard of or that I know that movies exist based off of them. One is Vanity Fair. I literally only know that Reese Witherspoon is in a movie of this. I picked it up and I like that the last name of the author, William Makepeace Thackeray. I've got Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy, Madame Bovary, Voltaire's Candide, and Justine. I also picked up My Antonia. I haven't read it, but I think my sister read it in high school. I also grabbed The Wings of the Dove by Henry James. Now, I've never read Henry James, and I had a beloved creative writing and English professor once say that he hated Henry James and all of his work put him to sleep while he was reading it when he was going to school. So I picked it up even though he said that, because I thought, you know, I'll give it the old college try. But maybe it will put me to sleep too, and then I will know, and then I can tell my professor, you were right. Oh my God, I've just dropped every single book. I also picked up an eclectic mix of books that pertain to hobbies and things that I want to learn how to do or start doing, or things that I want to learn more about. So I have like 3 books and magazines that pertain to gardening or landscaping. One is this really cool, it looks like it's from the 50s because it's got a lot of mid-century modern architectural styles in there. And I really love the exteriors of mid-century modern homes. I also grabbed this Learn How book. It's about crochet. Unfortunately, I never learned this from my great-grandmother when she was around because I think I was just too young to really take advantage or appreciate the knowledge that she had. So I picked this up. This is also from the 50s, it looks like, and the cost was 10 cents. So that's pretty amazing. And it's got all these other great old ads. The last of the hobby books is a book on feng shui. Oh, and it's feng shui for gardens. So this again pertains to the outside space. I really liked that idea, so I wanted to learn more. Plays! It's time for plays! So the next grouping is all for plays. Theatrical plays. Scripts, if you will. Well, no. I don't know how long I can sustain this dialect. Oh yeah, and this actually isn't a script or a play, so let me just get that out there. Right, so I gotta pick up scripts, plays, anytime I see them. I've never seen this, but I am familiar with Eugene O'Neill because he wrote A Long Day's Journey into Night. I have that one in my collection, but I do not have The Iceman Cometh. So I definitely wanted to grab it. Edward Albee is a playwright that I was introduced to in high school by my very first true theater director, Mr. Traver. We did The American Dream. I don't know what high schooler would ever know about those plays, but we did because he wanted us to be well-rounded and to know obscure works. I don't know. I think he wanted us to be subversive. So I picked up Tiny Alice by Edward Albee. Oh my God. And of course, okay, this is how you will probably know Edward Albee, is because he wrote Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. I think that just goes to show the kind of things that we were doing in high school theater, that we were like, listen, no, we're not gonna do the well-known one, even though that's a great one. We're gonna do The American Dream and be confused as hell. Did we know what we were saying? Absolutely not. Did that mean that we didn't have a good time? No, we had a great time saying these crazy things that Edward Albee wrote. Anyway, moving on. This copy of Four Great Plays by Ibsen, it's much more accessible. It's a paperback copy, unlike the other one is beautiful, but it's, you know, hardcover and it's huge. Even though I have a ton of Shakespeare, and even though I also have tons of Shakespeare plays in my own personal collection, I had to pick up 3 more. As You Like It, King Lear, and The Tempest. These are from Pelican, so this publishing company, but I like them because they were all complementary covers, and you can see that there's definitely a common theme and they were meant to go as a set. I also have a lot of Dover Thrift editions of the classics. I have a version of Phaedra. I don't know how Phaedra will relate to works like Electra or Antigone, so I'm excited to read that and just see for myself. The women in my family really love Jane Austen. My sister is actually named for Jane Austen. I picked up a copy of Northanger Abbey. This is Austen adjacent. It's inspired by Pride and Prejudice, and it's called Mr. Darcy Takes a Wife. Now, I have not read this, but I distinctly remember a very close friend of mine, her mother reading this. She got it from the library. Love your public library. Go there and get books and check it out. Anyway, she got Mr. Darcy Takes a Wife, and she was like, this is the steamiest book I've ever read, and it is everything I wanted. So if you need your Mr. Darcy smut, I would recommend this. Naturally, I had to pick up some books of poetry, so I got some Robert Frost, which is great. I really like the cover of this one. I like the red pages. It stands out. I also have sonnets from the Portuguese. It's a nice little hardcover. And then I also have Pablo Neruda, 20 Love Poems, and A Song of Despair. I got this copy in the summertime and my birthday's in November. And I could see my sister when I went and picked this copy up. She was like, and she just made a face and I was like, what? What's wrong? She's like, nothing. It's nothing. Well, it turns out she made the face because she got a copy for me for my birthday. And it's actually in Spanish, which I really, really love that she did that. Spanish is a language that we learned together, and I like that she's kind of nurturing that and wanting to make sure that it stays alive. This next group are kind of random books for me. Robert Louis Stevenson's The Master of Ballantrae. I have no idea what this is about, but the cover looked like Robin Hood and also maybe the Three Musketeers, but it also looks like they're wearing some plaid. So I don't know. I was intrigued by the cover. And then also Robert Louis Stevenson wrote Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I thought I'd give it a try. There were so many copies of this at the sale. The Red Badge of Courage by Stephen Crane. I've never read this. I don't know anything about it, but I picked it up because there were literally so many copies. I have a feeling that there were so many copies of the Red Badge of Courage because it was read in school. It was probably a required reading. This one also had quite a few copies, but I wanted to pick it up because of the little blurb on the front cover, which, well done to whoever wrote it. They said, the greatest novel to emerge out of the tragedy of South Africa and one of the best novels of our time. And it's called Cry the Beloved Country by Alan Paton. I picked up some Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, The Hound of the Baskervilles. I've honestly never read any Sherlock Holmes, which seems a little bit crazy. The Wreckers by Ian Lawrence. It sounded vaguely familiar, and there's a picture of a ghostly shipwreck on the front. I also don't know what this is about, but I thought I would try it. Rudyard Kipling, The Man Who Would Be King and Other Stories. This sounded vaguely familiar. It's a Dover Thrift edition as well. Rudyard Kipling won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1907, so I thought I'd give it a shot. These are books that are iconic and I remember reading about them. They have a very strong base in history. The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli, even though I have a feeling I'm gonna hate what he says. I picked up The Metamorphosis by Ovid, but this is translated by David R. Slavitt. Other classics include Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. That's the Dover Thrift edition. Fathers and Sons by Ivan Turgenev. James Joyce's A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. James Joyce's Dubliners. I also grabbed Zaytoon. I read this in high school. Last but not least is Ernest Hemingway's In Our Time. I wanted to pick this copy up because it was a different cover than the one that I have. Thank you so much for joining me while I was talking about this amazing book haul from the Great American Book Sale from our local library. This is just a reminder, or maybe an invitation for you to go and visit your local library. Even if you're not sure if you're going to use it, go and sign up for a library card. It really helps your local community. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again